Hello everybody and welcome back to the Storm Poker Challenge. My name is Dylan and this is another video in our Riders of the Storm series for mybet.com. We're looking for some tens and aces. Yeah, no dice. Oh, although the ace plays, look at that. So he got counterfeited. So he had a pair of fours, but there's a pair on board and a better pair came. And our ace plays, and he gets knocked out. So it was, it's a coin flip pre-flop, and we ended up taking it down. That's also a really good one for the video, I think. A lot of guys don't know about that counterfeiting deal with those small pairs. All of a sudden, he was playing the board, and yeah, we had the better kicker. So yeah, that was it, guys. On this tournament, what I'm going to do now is just put us on another Storm table. Now we're going to run 3 while we're playing this tournament out. So off we go, guys. This Queen 6 suited I'll probably raise up if it's folded to me, but I'm not going to be flatting or re-raising. Maybe a guy raising here I might re-raise as a bluff, but yeah, definitely not something in the middle positions. Right, and the Ace 5 suited. Instead of raising it, from time to time you can limp these really speculative hands. Steal with the 10-8 off. Take it down uncontested, and here we definitely want to isolate. Button just limps. Isolate here with our weak ace. Flop the ace, however. Half pot it. How many times do they need to fold for us to break even? I'll let you guys rewind the tape. I won't spoil the suspense there. 70 on this is not going to be a call because, with your suited aces, guys, it's not like with your small and mid pockets, right? When you hit the flop, if you don't hit that ace, you're often going to be hitting a draw. So as you guys know, when you're holding any two suited cards, you're going to flop the flush draw about 1 time in 8, more or less. And you're only going to flop the full flush 118 to 1 again. So 1 time in 119 flops with suited cards where you flop the actual flush. It's just highly unlikely. So that means with your suited aces, your suited kings, you want to have a bit more than just odds going for you when you make those calls. And again, just flopping the flush draw alone, right, is more or less 8 to 1 again. So don't, it looks good, actually smells bad. Just be real careful when you're playing those. You really want to be in position, kind of over-calling in position, or over-limping, better case, when you can outplay the guys post-flop also when you do miss, as you often will. Alright, and yeah, of course, I don't know if you guys actually saw the video that we played earlier, the session we played earlier, but we had a really decent session before this tournament started up. And yeah, we've got no worries for the entire return on the day so far. 79, he just mins and we'll just flat. And again, guys, this min business is often because they think you may have hit, you may have actually clicked the auto fold button, which we never do, of course, for exactly that reason. And we flop the open and straight draw, miss big, and here we half it again. Here we half it again, and 79 can't make that call, I believe, with those odds, so I'm going to let that go. So here we pick up an open and a straight draw. We got 18 versus this guy's 60-something. We can shove this right now. However, I think the 3/4 pot's going to get us there as well. And he lets it go. So the problem with shoving on that turn is that you're only going to get called with the worse hand. Forgive me, with a better hand, and it's a bit of a pricey move versus a deep stack player that's got you covered. Here the ace queen, we're going to just go ahead and raise up, 3 time it as well, and actually I could have popped that to 4 times since there were basically 2 overcallers, but yeah, no biggie. Here we check one, 10 comes. If he checks again, then we definitely bet that, but he doesn't. He bets into it full pot, and we let that go. Ace queen out of position. We take a big swing and a miss. That means more than likely 1 or 2 of these guys are also on aces of some kind, some ace x hand, and yeah, they all check to us. 4 comes. Now we've got the inside straight draw to the 2, but that's about it. And I'm not happy when I see an ace either. Maybe a queen. Shit. So if he checks again, the only way we can take this down Not with our ace high, that's for sure. So we'll make it about 660, a little less than half. And take it down uncontested. That's a hell of a good result in a four-way pot. 6 max with the ace queen. So alright, we're on the uptick. And 93. Unfortunately, we got auto-checked there because of the talking head here on the mic that never stops. Alright, so we check, he pots it, good thing, and we just duck out. 86 suited would have been a raise for steal, but not. Yeah, we could also re-steal with, yeah, I'd say we could have just 3-bet that guy from the cutoff, making his little steal raise, and probably got away with it. Also post-flop, because we had what? Both position and initiative, right? The pip principle, position and initiative, equals profit in the long run. Both 6 max and full ring. Alright, 56 suited, we're just going to open race here from the hijack. 33, definite raise, steal raise from the small. And the good thing is, yeah, when he makes this kind of big raise here, we're playing mutual big stacks, so I've got 10 times the amount to call. I'm looking for the 3. I'm set mining here with my call. Damn. Swing and a miss. King's also on board. I could bet that, but you know this guy, if he re-raises, he's going to probably take a shot 9 times in 10. He does not. That's unexpected. And now, you know, it's 3 suited, half potted. Maybe he lets it go if he doesn't have the king or is worried about it. Now it's 6, 7, 9, 10. Any 8 is good, probably. Yeah, of course the king is good, and again, I've only got one way to take this thing down. That's a half pot bluff on the river, and he lets it go. So don't, you know, even out of position, guys. If you're playing, you know, I raised pre-flop, he bet it, I flatted. If he's not on the king, right, he's in trouble already. It was 3 suited, and any 8 would take that down, right? So again, if you got one way basically to take that pot, make your half pot bet. You only got to take it down 1 time in 3 to break even, and that's, you know, that's something that I think a lot of new and rec players don't really get. It's something you should definitely include. And again, you know, you're not always going to take it down. It's not always that they're going to lay down for you like that. Here I'm just going to flat one in position. But yeah, it will work out a lot. And again, it only needs to work out 1 time in 3 to be plus minus 0 EV. Okay, yeah, he's excited about that. And we can flat again and then bet the river, but that's getting expensive already. The pot's getting bigger, and I think I'll just duck out. 78 would have been the flopped 75 to 1 straight. But 6s and 5s, you know, could have been flopped as sets, and yeah, who knows, maybe 9 king, but yeah, just wasn't feeling it. Another good thing is, guys, you know, we're playing a mathematical game. We're also playing a psychological positional game, but the one thing I would never underestimate, and it's something that you guys should definitely take to heart, and that is listening to your gut. You know, if you got a good feeling, fine. Make sure there's some mathematical reason also to go along with the gut feeling. But if you got a bad feeling, right, yeah, listen to your gut. You know, not always. If you got a very clear mathematical play, why not? But don't, you know, don't just ignore intuition. Right, that would be a mistake. It'd be as big of a mistake as people only playing with intuition and never looking at actual strategy and tactics and the math behind everything. So yeah, it's a good combination of both. And as I'm always saying, you know, poker is a game of both skill and luck. 98. Wow, we flop it again. So 75 to 1 is that flop. We half it. Hopefully he's got the jack and plays back at us. Does not. We just take it down straight, and here we flop our, you know, flush draw. 600. He checks to us, and I'm just going to shove this and hold my breath. Right on. So again, same principle. You know, if I make a half pot bet, I'm committed. You know, my pot is at least the same size or close to my stack size. I've got the flush draw. King's on board. He checked to me. I've got position. I think I've got a lot more fold equity than I normally would, and I just decide for the shove, given the stack to pot ratio. And it's also when I shove on the flop, that's if I miss the turn, right, then you know, I have much more equity on the flop when I shove. And that's that was the idea, and he let it go. happy about that. Ace King, big swing and a miss yet again. Check, check, and again this time I'm just gonna check behind and opt for the delayed c-bet if they check to me. You know, you don't have to c-bet 100% of all flops by any means, guys. So we check behind, then he donks, and then he gets flatted, right? And now our Ace King is very clearly dead, and we can let that go for cheap. All right, 5Zs. Out of position versus 2 players is also going to be a check, guys. No set, no bet. We whiffed. All good. You know, you can make those moves, but when you're making those bluff moves, in general, it is good to have position, right? So this guy over here making that bet is a good idea. Yeah, we check into 2 players and let it go. Versus maybe 1 player in a heads-up pot, I might go ahead and make a move there. You know, donk into it, bluff it. But not always. Again, I think if you guys stick in general to the pip principle, right, position and initiative, you'll be way ahead of the game. You know, in almost all scenarios at the low stakes. Here I'm gonna flat one here for the miracle, and maybe even pick up the button. Wow. Okay, so we got last position with our limp. That's pretty sweet. Flop the king, and we're gonna see what we can't do here. 63, so 6, 7, 8 is no good. Yeah, we're totally toast here. I'm going to float this guy. Alright, so I flat once. If they check to me, I bet. I didn't want him to actually call that, but... Nah, shit. Okay. Float's out of... Yeah, float's now out. The continuation of this float would be then to raise. But you're going to get into a big pot afterwards, and that's... Yeah. Yeah, the float idea is now way out of my mind. We'll just play on. You know, when he checks, then I give it another shot. If not, forget it. All right, and above, I should probably say a few things to the tournament up here. Okay, what we've got here, guys, is basically 2,400 left in our stack, and the blinds are now. Let's go ahead and fill this up. Yeah, blinds are now 50 and 100 with no ante. Alright, so that means effectively we have 24 big blinds in our stack. So we are in so-called middle phase play. And in middle phase play, for those of you who have read maybe Dan Harrington on Hold'em, his book on tournament play, or if you've read even better, yeah, if you read the book, then Kill Everyone, or even a book that I can very much recommend, a little less known, as Tournament, I think it's called Killer Tournament Poker, something like that, by Tony Guerrera. Really, really brilliant poker coach and theorist. And yeah, definitely check out those books when you can. But right now we're at 24 big blinds, playing a middle phase strategy. And unfortunately we got a guy that's got us basically covered at least 2.5 times. The rest of the table is more or less the equivalent of our stack. So this is the big guy that we're, don't really want to get into it with. And we want to attack as well as we can these other guys. Problem is the big stack player is directly to our left, so this is kind of shit luck concerning our seat at this point. But, we want to be targeting the other fellas. And this guy, of course, when we got it, we got it licked. Our lock, stuff like that. But here with 24, anytime you're between, 28 to about 15 big blinds, you got a really good effective stack for re-steal pushing. And anytime you get underneath, I would say at the bare minimum 13, but even you could probably even say underneath 15, you're in so-called push or fold modus. So that means you're not making, normal raises, normal bets, stuff like that. You're shoving or letting it go pre-flop. And yeah, that's the big difference between tournaments and cash games in a lot of regards. We flopped top set here. I think actually I'm just going to make a smaller bet and try and drain him a little bit. We'll see what he does. He'll probably just let it go. Oh, nice. He check raises us and we push. Brilliant. Oh no, but we don't want that 2 or 7 happening. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, don't worry, be happy. Where'd you go, Bobby? Alright, so we get sucked out on yet again. Yeah, now we're just totally knocked out. We're under 2 big blinds, but we shove with, I'll show you guys that actually in Poker Stove. we shove, and that guy had, he had 8 clean outs, right? So he's looking at like probably 32% equity to the river, right? So we got it in good yet again, I think, on this table over here on this tournament. We got it in probably as a 75% favorite, 70-75, and over here we got it in as a 70 plus, more or less, favorite, and lost both. So guys, again, variance. We got it in perfectly. We got it in as huge equity, equity favorites. Ended up losing. That's poker. That's why it's not chess. All right. So let me go ahead and pull up Poker Stuff and show you guys exactly what that looked like. But first, we pick up 9s, and this is our all-in shove move. Should I turn up the techno here in the background? So we shove. I mean, this guy should call, pretty much any 2, especially if there's an overcaller anywhere. And yeah, I mean, when you guys see somebody make a call here with like 2-7 or something like that, or 7-king, for example, that's a good call. A lot of people would hit the roof and say, "Oh, how could you call that?" Actually, he's only calling, he's getting like 3 or 4 to 1 odds, and yeah, it's a very clear and easy call. So luckily for us, we actually ended up holding here as 70% favorites, but yeah, that's how that went down. Looks like we're going to be on a break here shortly, and I'll pull up Poker Stove to show you what I was talking about. Alright, so this is a calculator that I've created for the people I coach, and also for my own game. And as you guys see here, we've got the big blind ante players at the table, effective stack, forgive me, your stack, the hero stack. And this is the breakdown of the M, right, so-called M here, and the total amount of big blinds you have remaining in your stack, and the big blind as a function of your stack. Total overhead costs are what you'll pay every time the button goes around one time. So in our example here, we've got big blind of 100, no antes, 10 players, I believe. 1, 2, what we got? Let's call it 9. And 2417 was our stack size. Alright, so we had, again, very simply, 24 big blinds, as we had mentioned actually in the recording itself. Effective M of 16, the normal M of 16, and an effective M of then more or less 14.5. Alrighty, so yeah, these are recommendations in general, very, very, very summarized from Dan's book there in his M recommendations. But yeah, I mean, we're in small ball, re-steal push modus, more or less, given our stack size. And we catch 6s, and we decide to open it up from early mid position. Alright, and that's how this went. So we go and raise it up 3x, right? So we've got another 21 big blinds remaining in our stack, and I'm going to go ahead and bring down Poker Stove below. So once this tournament kicks back off, we still got our shove stack here, 4 big blinds, and yeah, we're just waiting for our wave here, and we'll see how that works out. In the meantime, I'll just explain this very last hand, using our calculator here, our tournament calculator, and Poker Stove to kind of go over the details. Alright, so we raise it up 3 times with the remaining stack of 21 big blinds. We get a fold, 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 and a flat. Okay, this guy cold calls, so-called flat calls. And he's making a decent call also with the hand that we know that he ends up having. Alright, he, 5-10 is going to be a big... Okay, a lot of guys at this stage would of course just push any 2. And we probably should. Let's see here. What's the magic number after all the late registrations? 81. Alright, and remaining we have 337. Alright, so there's no way in hell we're going to get there, so that will be a call, more than likely. So he lets it go, and again, why not? Just end our misery. And or double up. Even better. Ooh, bad, he's got an overpair, so we're way killed here. Running 5s or 10s. Also no diamond, no dice, and we're out. All right, and again, yeah, you could have also let that go and then played for your 2.5 big blinds after the fact with 300 plus players remaining, and you got to get down to what we just showed you guys of 81. So, after that bad beat, that was pretty much it. You could have potentially found a fold there and then played on, but again, what are you gonna do? Chip and a chariot does exist, and we could have run back with maybe the 2 and 2.8 big blinds. Who knows? But we were gonna be in the small blind again, and yeah, again we just had the 2 big blinds. We could have totally rocked up and figured that out, but whatever, no big deal. All right, so let's finish this hand up. We've got 6s here. We open it up, and this guy flats with 3s for set value. And also here, he's calling basically 250, and that times 10 is, within the realm of flatting for set value still. No problem at all. So here we go. This guy decides to let it go, and the flop comes, and again, we flop top set, and we know what he has already, but we can't know that at this point in the hand. So what we're going to do is give him an entire range here in Poker Stove, right, for flatting. And what I would say is that he'll have any pair for sure, but he wouldn't be flatting aces, kings, queens, jacks, maybe not 10s either. But for the largest flatting range, maybe he would just flat 10s. Who knows? Okay, good. He wouldn't flat ace or kings, ace, king, ace, queen suited. I don't think. He might have flatted something like this. Right, I can see that happening. I can see him flatting a lot of max stretch suited connectors, potentially, to put him on a really wide range. We'd also give him some broadways, stuff like that. And he may, if he's really wild, he may have even flatted, any other weaker ace suited, maybe the ace 10. All right, it's a full 16% flat range, and that's really wide. All right, but let's just go ahead and plug that in and see how we stand. Pre-flop, we're about, it's not exactly, so let's call it 9%, whatever. Okay, that's again quite wide, and I think maybe he flats. These guys might check out. Maybe something like this, right? Bringing it down to 12%. All right, and now we're flipping either way. Good. Here comes a flop. 654, 2 suited. Oh no, single suit. Sorry, that's 2 suited replay, or 2 color replay. 5 spades and 4 clubs. Very good. And we've got top set here, and we're looking just really good against his entire range, right? At 89.6%. Now, what happens? He checks, and we make the smallish bet, trying again to get paid off here a bit. Not much to protect against it. I did mention in the videos, if he's got 3s or 7s, we're a little bit worried. But yeah, take a shot here, smaller deal, and he actually check raises us, which is, given his hand, what we'll see here shortly, a really good idea, because it's a really strong semi-bluff push, right? It puts the last question to me, right? And he shoves what we come to know are his pair of 3s. Very strong move. Now, let us, just to show you that it was a pair of 3s. So, there we go. If we go ahead and clear this, and just either give him 3s or 7s on his shove, or actually 4s or 5s, because I think he would also shove that. I think he'd probably check shove also the 7s, 8s, and 9s, right? If this were 2 suited, he might shove also over pairs that were suited of the same suit, so to say. So over card draw plus the flush draw. In this case, it was a rainbow board, so you got to basically cut those out. So we give him this entire pair range for his check shove on the flop. Good. How do we look there? Pretty much exactly the damn same, right? At 82%. So against his range, really reduced range, we're looking at, to be basically a 4 and 5 favorite. Yeah, hard luck. And if we only put him on the hand that we, after he called, actually put him on, and a pair of threes or a pair of sevens, right? And I guess this would have been on the list as well. The 32, I don't see him flatting by any means, and the 37, right? 3-7 pre-flop, he's not going to flat either. So yeah, more or less this. And let's see if there were anything else that we could have added to that. Maybe 7. Do we have maybe a 7-9 suited could have flatted? Maybe the 7 ace. Maybe the ace 3. Okay, good. Why not? Just to show you guys a couple things how you can play with it. That markedly changes it, right? That brings us down to about 58%, but we're still a big favorite, right? 58%, even against this open-ended straight draw range, plus any under flop set or over pairs. And now we know exactly what he holds. And here we go. And let's make it real specific, right? 3 diamonds, 3-0 spades. And that's going to be real close. Good. So we get it in as a 3, yeah, 75% favorite. And he ends up sucking out. He's going to take it down one time in 4, more or less, right? And that was unfortunately one of those times, guys. It's called variance. That's called a bad beat. It's called a suck out. You're going to hear it referred to in a lot of different ways. With more or less emotion depending on whom you're playing with. But yeah, you know, we flopped the miracle. He flopped a decent draw. Made a good check shove, right? That's a really good move against my entire range because I'm going to have missed that flop a lot too, right? So bravo, this guy's play was actually very good. I've got nothing against his shove there given the circumstance. I think it's a fine play. And yeah, our call was good. As you guys saw, you know, we got it in both of our tournaments as pretty much 70-75% favorites. And yeah, struck out pretty hard. Hence, while you're waiting for your wave, guys, back to our the initial topic of this video, you can be running your cash game tables on the side. And I think just to close this video up, what I'll do is go ahead and set up a 4-table Storm cash game situation, which is what we're going to be playing from here on out.